Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
Hi, this is Mark Wade, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Sorry, I wish I had a Grunwald drop, but I don't. Alright, kids. I'm Mark Wade, also known as Cap Raider. Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Tales. Your home for all things classic Marvel. I am Phil, and joining me as always, well, D-Man's second biggest fan.
I do love old Demolition Man Murphy.
Oh yeah. Charlie was his biggest fan, man. He was always. Yes, kids, that's right. Cause we're gonna be talking Cap. We're gonna be talking D-Man. We're talking you. John Walker. We're talking
John Walker.
Captain America 348 through 350. For those of you who don't know, the end of that, the Captain saga.
This is one of my picks for Phil's birthday month of April.
Excellent pick.
Thank you. Yes, I know that you're a huge fan of the Mark Grunwald Captain America era, and this, I think, is probably one of the best stories from that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like. I mean, it's hard to pick the best one out of so many really good ones, but this one really comes to the forefront of my mind when I think of that era.
Yeah,
as being just something that was so satisfying, the conclusion.
Oh, yeah, and just how long was it? From 332 to 350. Yeah. If this isn't my top Cap story, it's up there, because, again, it's Grunwald, and Yeah. I love this whole thing.
Yeah, me too. I mean, in the 80s, we saw a trend of a lot of long-standing characters getting pretty drastic changes. We had the black suit for Spider-Man. We had Thor switching up his look to the battle armor and growing out the beard. We had Joe Fixit with the Gray Hulk. We had the Silver Centurion armor for Iron Man. And then for Captain America, we had this. We had the Captain, where he took on a new costume and a new shield, and there was a different Captain America. And this was a masterclass, really, this whole long story in how to, quote-unquote, replace your main character while also keeping them in the main title. I mean, there's some issues of Captain America where it's almost a double book. Like, there's two stories running concurrently, John Walker's story and Steve Rogers' story. And Mark Grunwald did it so effortlessly. Oh, yeah. It could have easily ran off the rails, but it never did. And it consistently surprised me as well. There were some escalations that took place during this story, like the whole thing with the Watchdogs and left and right winger and the Resistance. Like, some of that stuff I was completely floored by. I couldn't believe it. Well, and then when we had yeah, exactly, and then when we had the revelations that happened in this issue,
350,
and 350,
there's a lot of revelations there.
Yeah, I just loved it. I fell in love, and I was collecting Cap regularly then, but it sealed the deal for me. I was like, I'm going to keep on collecting this for as long as I can.
I mean, at this point, we've done I think every major superhero has had they've been replaced for a while and stuff, and sometimes it's good for a while, but sometimes towards the end, I'm just like, okay, I'm about ready for this to be over and done with, but I mean, this story, I mean, yeah, like you said, Grunwald could have taught a masterclass on this. I mean, it's beautiful. If he would have ran it longer, I would have been like, okay, I'm here. I'm here to see what you're going to do with this. Yeah.
Yeah. And they essentially did. Like, John Walker's story continued almost immediately after this. There wasn't really a pause whatsoever. So it was good that they didn't just, we're just going to use him for this story, and then we're just going to junk him, whatever. Mm-hmm. They kept going with his story and kept evolving and growing his character, which was great.
I'm assuming this is Russell. We got
Russell.
Tomes of Evil. We got Stern, Spider-Man, Miller, Daredevil, Simonson, Thor, Grunwald, Cap, and Claremont, X-Men. I mean, so much stuff that's become classics. Yeah, it came from that era.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, he said the magic word, so I will hit the button. Yes,
Miller's
Daredevil.
Your mother's a whore.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, there was so much classic, and like you were saying, just with the new looks, with Cap in the black suit, Spider-Man in the black suit, Iron Man, Silver Centurion, Joe Fixit. I think there was like was it a Marvel Age or something back then where they're like showcasing the new looks, and they were all like on the cover, and
I think I remember that.
Yeah,
somewhat. Yeah, I loved it because I knew at the time, reading these as a kid when they were coming out, I was like, yeah, these new looks aren't going to last. Like, they're going to change them eventually. They'll change them back to the original, or they'll change them to another new one. Like, that's just the nature of it. It's never going to stay the same.
Oh yeah,
but I really liked the Captain look, like the black suit with the red, and like it looks really cool. Like the design of it is really great.
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that look. Yeah. I'm glad they kept it going with John Walker and everything, because I'm like, oh yeah, that is a great suit.
Yeah.
And I'm almost like in certain years, I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know, just the way some people, I don't know, see America anymore. I'm always like, I'm almost like waiting for the day they're gonna like change his suit and just like start calling him the Captain again or something.
Oh, yeah. Oh, maybe someday.
Oh, Russell Miller Daredevil is the only Miller thing I like, even The Dark Knight Returns. I mean, I think that might be his best story, is the Daredevil Born Again.
The Daredevil, I agree. That is his best stuff. Yeah.
But again, even there, and like you said, Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, it's just
Your mother's a whore.
Yeah, and Sin City and all that other stuff. It's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, let's not badmouth Batman stuff.
Batman, my favorite character.
Double boom! Got the Your Mother's a Whore and Batman, my favorite character. Boom!
Into the Dark Knight, all to do with Batman.
Boom! Oh my lord! Yeah. Oh, was that? I was gonna say, I don't know what time of day it was, but I woke up yesterday morning or something, and like Ray had messaged a bunch of us, like, oh, look at this Fantastic Four art by Byrne. It was like, remember Sue Richards' puffy hair or whatever?
Oh, yes, yeah. The helmet hair.
Yes.
Yeah. Sue Storm has gone through so many looks over the years.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, gotta keep fishmen interested,
That's
My
right.
favorite
biscuit. And he definitely was.
Yeah. All right, so should we get to these issues?
Yes, there's a lot to talk about in these three.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I only picked three, because I thought, well, there's enough story jammed in all three of these that'll be plenty.
I was gonna say that this whole story, like I said, the whole storyline from 332 to 350, so much good stuff. But it's like, how many episodes we could get out of that? Oh my lord,
could probably do years worth of it.
And then it's like, what so you could even like branch out from there, because like one issue ties in with Armor Wars and
Armor Wars, yeah. Inferno.
Oh, Inferno. And the Avengers Annual, which we'll mention during the Evolutionary War, which we already did.
Yeah.
Grunwald, man, he kept that continuity on track, man.
Yeah.
There was like an issue there was an Avengers Annual and Avengers issue, like between like two issues of Captain America.
He was right on the ball.
Oh, yeah. All right, so start with Captain America. Oh, yeah. Captain America 348 from December 1988. Out of commission. Oh, gigs of the commission.
Mm-hmm.
Again, of course, writer Mark Grunwald, penciler Kieran Dwyer, inker Al Milgram, colorist Greg Wright, letterer Jack Morelli, and editors Ralph Macchio, Mark Siri, and Mark Grunwald. So, all right, Mark editing himself. Well, most other people. All right, and here we go. Another Grunwald creation villain. Yes.
Yeah.
15 miles from the North Pole, Flag Smasher is fleeing on rocket skis from two ultimatum agents attempting to capture him. And yes, I did say that. Rocket skis.
Rocket skis.
Sounds like something on G.I. Joe. But yes, kids, Flag Smasher.
Smash it.
He tries to order them to stand down, but they inform him that he is no longer their leader. His Luger and mace outmatched by their plasma blasters, Flag Smasher maneuvers himself between them, leading to one of the agents, Krantz, to inadvertently shoot down his partner. This gives Flag Smasher an opening to close in and shoot Krantz, whose death he regrets. Can't find good lackeys anywhere.
Especially named Krantz.
I know. Taking Krantz's armor and plasma blaster, he proceeds to a nearby scientific outpost, noting to himself that his success in this mission is not only a matter of world security, but his own honor as an anti-patriot. Anti-patriot. In the commission chambers, John Walker, Captain America, is forced to answer for his catastrophic fight against the left-winger and right-winger in Texas last issue.
Catastrophic is right.
Oh, I know. Oh, you mean time two guys after you beat them senseless, time to an big oil drum and blow them up? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember reading that first time. I'm like, oh my God.
This is what I mean. I was constantly surprised by this series.
Well, I mean, he went, again, as we'll mention coming up here, I mean, he's around the bend since the Watchdogs killed his parents, yeah.
Right. It's only going to get worse from here.
Oh, yeah. Chairman Douglas Rockwell states that the commission has voted to suspend Walker permanently and that he is to be held pending investigation of possible criminal acts. I mean, attempted murder of two guys? Besides that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and he's already killed one of our favorites, Professor Patwell. He killed that body.
Do they know about that? I wonder if he told them about that. Because I figured that they would have been pissed about that, but I guess not.
You would think. I'm trying to remember if I wonder if they swept that under the rug. We're like, oh, yeah, maybe it was self-defense or something. But
yeah, probably. Yeah.
But left and right winger, it's like, I don't think it's like, oh, no, it wasn't self-defense. You tied them up. And
you tied them up and left them there.
Yeah. Put one of their torches right by the oil. It's like, oh, no.
That's called premeditated.
Oh, yeah. Walker's about to concede when, sign of the times, kids, President Reagan enters the chamber looking to meet the new Captain America before his presidential term is up. And okay, I'm just, all right, 3, 2, 1. I'm waiting for Noel to be like, F Reagan or something. F Reagan. He questions Rockwell about the commission's decision to replace Steve Rogers. When asked where Rogers is now, Commissioner Samish reveals that they are holding him for questioning regarding the Viper's attack on D.C. The president recalls a masked man saving his life and states that if it was Rogers, he should be released. He offers words of encouragement to Walker on his way out, and the commission finds itself in the difficult position of having to retain Walker at least until the start of the next administration. This is where Noel comes in and says, F George Bush. Flag Smasher forces his way into Ice Station Able, where he orders the man in the communications room to broadcast a simple message toward the United States. Captain America, I need your help. Rockwell's reporting the president's intervention to Mr. Smith, who is delighted that Walker will continue to be free to besmirch the image of Captain America and agrees with Reagan's request to release Rogers. And I love the foreshadowing. I'm sure this was probably a note from Grunwald. It's like, oh yeah, when he's talking to him with that little screen, make sure Smith is, in red.
Yeah.
Red, kids, red.
Yeah, red. And also take a look at the wisps of smoke sometimes. And see
the fancy cigarette holder and stuff.
Yeah. Those little hints hidden in there, too.
Although at this point, I mean, it had been a few years since he had appeared.
And because that was
300.
300.
And because it was like the end of DeMatteis's run. So it was Grunwald's run. Yeah.
And that was what also made this, in my opinion, much more effective. Mm-hmm. Because of the fact that the Red Skull had been gone for a while. And also because I remember when I first started reading comics, like the Red Skull was in the Book of the Dead, like the official Marvel Handbook Book of the Dead. Like they considered him gone.
Well, that's the other thing. I mean, it'd been like 4 years. He had died in Captain America's arms. So it's like it's pretty much.
And I love that story. In some ways, this story kind of nullified that, but They kind of didn't at the same time.
Yeah.
It depends on how you look at it.
I think I told you before, but one time I talked to DeMatteis, which again, kids, he's going to be coming on and back again soon to talk Spider-Man Shadow of the Green Goblin soon here. So,
Nice.
But he did tell me, Captain America was Steve Rogers was supposed to die in 300 too with the Red Skull, and then Black Crow was going to take over as Captain America.
Yes, which I love that. I absolutely love that.
Right.
Yeah, could you imagine if that had happened?
Oh,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it would be wild.
It was just an idea ahead of its time. You know they would do that now. They would, at least for a short period of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd love to see that now.
Rockwell was surprised that Smith doesn't want Rogers killed, but before he can elaborate, the call is interrupted by Commissioner Cooper. That's right, kids, Val Cooper.
Val Cooper. Here she is. I love it.
For those of you who may not read comics, yes, from X-Men 97.
Yep.
Who relays Flag Smasher's message. She asks who they should send, and Rockwell instructs her to send Walker, openly musing that if he gets himself killed, it would save the Commission the trouble of dealing with him later. In the meantime, Rogers waits in his holding cell, musing about his previous reluctance to fight the Commission, to the point of wondering if he was subconsciously testing himself in the wake of his previous fight with the Super Patriot. Unaware at this point that the Super Patriot is the man who replaced him as Captain America.
How ironic.
Rogers is startled from his self-reflection by a distant explosion that rocks out the power in his facility. He finds that his cell door is unlocked. The facility is apparently abandoned, and his shield has been left out in the open, leading him to suspect a setup, even as he tries to determine if D-Man is still being held there. As he makes his way outside, not finding anyone else, he sees he is at a military base, coming to the conclusion that he's been held at Fort George G. Meade. Because he was like, it took how long to get here, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
En route to Ice Station Able is a USAF transport. Battlestar is reviewing the dossier on Flag Smasher and the mission data on Rogers' previous mission against Ultimatum. He mentions that Ultimatum broke Flag Smasher out of S.H.I.E.L.D. custody a few months earlier. Battlestar tries to engage his partner, but Walker is silent, distant, causing Lamar to worry about his friend. Soon they arrive at the station, and Walker parachutes down with Battlestar holding back in reserve so Flag Smasher doesn't detect his presence. Walker finds Flag Smasher holding a scientist at gunpoint, ordering him to drop his shield. Walker refuses, much to Flag Smasher's surprise. That's so funny. He's like, drop your shield. Walker, no.
No.
It's like, wait, what? I'm saying, like, I know you.
He's like, go ahead and kill him. You'll die after
He's
him
like,
anyway.
yeah. When Walker tells Flag Smasher to go ahead and kill his hostage, stating that he'd be next to die, Flag Smasher is enraged, believing the United States government has deceived him and sent an imposter, despite Walker's declaration that he is Captain America. Flag Smasher releases his hostage and attacks Walker. Flag Smasher quickly realizes that the man he is fighting is significantly stronger than the Cap that he had fought previously, and much stronger than himself. Realizing how ferocious a fighter this Captain America is, Flag Smasher regains his composure and uses his superior tactics to maneuver Walker into a position where he can use his battlesuit's energy-absorbing ability to sap Walker of his strength and defeat him. Battlestar shows up before Flag Smasher can deliver the killing blow. Seeing Battlestar's uniform and realizing his association with the fake Captain America, Flag Smasher orders him to relay a message to his superiors to bring him the real Captain America, or everyone at the base, including Walker, will be killed. He also tells Battlestar that they only have 48 hours before the world is plunged into chaos. Realizing he is outmatched in this situation, Battlestar decides he has no choice but to comply with Flag Smasher's demand. Back in DC, Rockwell is tracking Rogers' movements thanks to a homing transmitter hidden in a strap rivet in his shield. He receives word about Flag Smasher's ultimatum to Battlestar over the intercom, but lies and says that since Rogers is no longer in custody, he has no idea where he would be. Elsewhere in Washington, Rogers locates his hidden portable hotline terminal, but when he attempts to remotely access the hotline's main computer in Brooklyn Heights to see if D-Man has left a message, he only received odd gibberish as feedback, and he realizes he needs to get back there to investigate. Inferno.
Minor details.
Yes. So yes, kids, yes, they have gotten an ultimatum from Ultimatum.
Imagine that.
Yes. All right. So thoughts on this? Thoughts on this?
I love this, and I was thinking too that if we get a chance to chat with the artist sometime.
Oh yeah.
Kyron Dwyer. I'd love to speak with him about his time on Captain America, because he drew some of my favorite stories, including the Bloodstone Hunt.
Oh yeah, we gotta get there
which is my number one favorite.
Oh,
I love
so
that
good.
story so much. Yeah. I love that we saw Ultimatum and Flag Smasher again, because that was a huge pivotal story in the whole replacement of Steve as Captain America.
Oh yeah, when he has to use the gun and everything, the gun down on terrorists to save lives. Yeah,
that was huge. And I like the concept of Ultimatum as a terrorist organization. Like they're anti-nationalist. Like they're dedicated to like wiping out the governments of all of these countries. And so I don't understand what their end game was. Like after they had done that, like it was just going to be anarchy. Like is that what their system? I guess was just everybody does whatever the hell they want.
I think Flag Smasher thought there was going to be world peace if you abolished all governments, because governments were just effing everything up. But if everyone was just whatever, it's because I think in his first appearance, like Captain America even told him, Steve was like, I have nothing against your goals. It's just, it's just your methods. Like, because he would just kill people randomly,
Right. Yeah, they did. I remember they did have a really long conversation about it. And it was a really intelligent one too. It wasn't just, oh, you're a bad guy, I'm going to beat you up, and here's why.
Oh yeah, that's not a Greenwald story. No.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so I was happy to see them again as the antagonists, and the setting was cool. I loved the little beginning part. It was kind of like something out of G.I. Joe, with the laser skis and the helmets and them shooting lasers at him and stuff. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
And him in that fancy man cape.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I also enjoyed the fact that Flag Smasher almost immediately knew that it wasn't the same Captain America. Like, he didn't even question. Like, immediately he knew. Just from that reaction that John Walker gave him. Like, that was enough. And he just launched forward with that spiked battle mace, and there was that great...
the splash page, yeah.
Full page. Yeah, that one. Yeah. I love it so much. So good. And I remember being surprised reading that the first time at how quickly Flag Smasher was able to overpower John Walker and defeat him. I thought, wow, that's 1 or 2 pages, and that's a wrap. So, yeah, I thought this is a great issue. Again, more surprises. The whole subplot with the dude in the shadows with the cigarette was really cool. Yeah, love it.
And again, this art's so good because you could tell. just from like certain panels that John Walker's unhinged. Just that. Say scum.
We're going to see a lot more of that face in the next couple of issues. Yeah, there's a slow descent into madness that you can see, and I love too how he illustrates the two faces, and even though it's the same costume, you can still tell that it's a different guy underneath.
Yeah,
there's just little subtle differences, like with the jawline and stuff that he illustrates. It's very understated, but it's cool. It definitely sticks out. I love it. I love his art style, and Al Milgrom, his inks are perfect with Dwyer's art style. Yep.
I love the commission part, when they're yelling at, John, and, it's all like dark and green in that room. Then all of a sudden Reagan throws open the door and the lights are on and everything. And it's just like,
Yeah, that part always makes me laugh with Reagan just strutting in and be like, oh, we should pardon this man.
And all of a sudden the lights snap on.
Yeah. So funny. Yeah, I love the fact that we had a Reagan cameo in this issue.
Oh yeah, the whole theme, like through all these issues, it's just like the commission's like, well, we don't want to go against the president. We have too much power. We don't want to lose any of this power. No.
Yeah.
Who cares if we let a maniac run loose out there? No, we might lose some of our political power. No,
that's right.
It's unacceptable.
So funny.
Okay, Noel, where are you at? F politicians.
I know we've said Reagan a few times and no comments yet.
Thought we'd someone know if we said Reagan 3 times. We looked in the mirror and said Ronald Reagan 3 times. All right. Anything else on this one, or should we get to the next one?
No, I think, we should move on to the next one. Yeah.
Oh my God, 349. Again, I love 350, but I almost love. I don't know if I love 349 even more than 350. It's close. I mean, these oh my God, 349 is one of my favorite single issues from that run. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I'm glad.
Oh yeah. But yeah, 348, 349. Yeah, we got some Ron Friends and Al Milgrom covers here too.
Yeah, love the covers here.
All right, Captain America 349 from January 1989. Ice Cap.
Oh, see what you did there.
Writer Mark. Yeah, I think it's the same team this time. Yeah, editors this time it's in Ralph Macchio and Mark Grunwald. All right. Having the Okay, kids, we're going to do a little bit of a time jump here because Avengers 298 and annual number 17 have taken place between last issue and this issue.
He's been busy.
I know, that's the thing. I'm just like, that's the one thing about Grunwald's run, man. He kept Cap hopping most of the time.
Yeah, he was all over the place, except when he wasn't locked up.
Pretty much. Or he went on a date.
Yeah.
Having defeated the High Evolutionaries' plans with the help of the Avengers reservists. Kids, scroll down. We covered that during the summer?
Evolutionary War, our mega coverage of the Evolutionary War this past summer.
That's right. The Captain returns to Hydro base to plan his next moves on how to fight the Commission on superhuman activities, as well as reviving the Avengers. I love when he's like coming up onto the beach and he's like, I can't believe they just like disbanded the team. I'm like, well, he's like, why didn't they call me? He's like, maybe they did, but I was locked up. But he's like, how could they? And we're gonna get there too, because we're doing that damn time bubble stuff and the Dr. Druid stuff. Yeah, I mean, everyone else is kind of missing or gone, and Thor's just like, yeah, I'm leaving. He's like, tells Jarvis to like lock up, and I'm just. And then who's one of the first ones that says, "Oh, Captain, I'll be on your team." Thor.
Yeah,
I'm like, okay.
Thor. Yeah,
Thor just didn't want to do.
I mean, he did have the Black Knight thing.
Yeah.
Like the Black Knight, he was the only one that could like deal with the Black Knight situation, so he kind of took off to deal with that.
Thor just didn't want to do paperwork is the problem.
Yeah, that's just it. He was having PTSD from his time as being leader of the Avengers.
Forsooth, this document be too long.
I still can't believe they put Thor in charge of the Avengers. Like, every time I remember that, I'm like, oh my God.
That's the problem with royalty, man. I mean, he's the king of Asgard, and I think the only reason why is, his father was king.
Yeah, it's nepotism. Yeah. Yeah, man doesn't know how to lead.
Come on, no! F the Royals! Come on, where are you at?
Gonna put him in charge of the Avengers. He's gonna go for the nuclear option every time. You kidding me? Crazy.
Oh, hit it with my hammer. Oh, wait till next episode, kids.
That's right.
Yeah, so he's thinking about his next move and how to. So he's helped stop the Evolutionary War, but now Inferno is still going on, and so right now he's thinking, I got to fix my personal stuff, and there's crap going on in New York. So
yeah, the Empire State Building is alive and eating people.
Exactly. So I think Inferno is going to be his next move, but. He is surprised by Demolition Man, who, after being unable to leave a message on Cap's hotline, made his way to Avengers Island to ponder his own next move. Rogers invites D-Man to be the first recruit to his newest team of Avengers, and they proceed toward the remains of the compound to see if they can contact more prospective members and prepare to investigate the Inferno event, aka the ongoing weirdness of Manhattan. However, they are intercepted by a helicopter carrying Battlestar. Before Battlestar can introduce himself, D-Man recognizes him from their previous encounter during the insurrection in Washington, D.C. He attacks Battlestar, but the Captain breaks up the fight. I love he just whips that shield around. Battlestar's like, oh, that's the original guy, because just how easily he just like whips that shield and catches it and stuff. Yeah. Battlestar informs Rogers of the situation regarding Flag Smasher's taking of Ice Station Able, his capture of the current Captain America, and his demand for the real Captain America. Rogers is suspicious, knowing Battlestar is working for the Commission, but Lamar insists he's there against the Commission's wishes. Rogers decides that if he can confirm that Flag Smasher is at large, he'll help Battlestar. Outside of the research station, Captain America is being held suspended waist high in ice water, using a steel girder chain to his legs to weigh him down. So yes, kids, Flag Smasher, the first ice bucket challenge.
Yeah. The original.
Yes. Flag Smasher is impressed by his foe's resilience and mentions his hope that his partner succeeds in finding the original Captain America in time, but then wonders why he's bothering to tell his captive this. As Flag Smasher walks away, Walker only briefly struggles to free himself. As he reaches the station's communications room, Flag Smasher muses that only 6 hours remain until Ultimatum's doomsday device is activated, and ponders his own idealism regarding the source of the funding for his anti-nationalist activities. When the radar picks up multiple incoming blips, Ultimatum agents have tracked him down. The Captain, D-Man, and Battlestar arrive in a Quinjet to witness the attack on the base. Rogers orders D-Man to take control of the Quinjet while he and Battlestar join the fray. The two end up split up during the fray, with Battlestar resolving to find Walker while Rogers seeks out Flag Smasher. Both men confused as they are unaware of Flag Smasher's split with his organization. Rogers eventually finds Flag Smasher behind a makeshift barrier in a corridor, gunning down Ultimatum agents with a machine gun and holding his former shield for protection. Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. Flag Smasher is taken aback by the black uniform, but recognizes his foe through his words and actions, confirming his identity by having him repeat the last words he had for Cap in their previous encounter in the Alps. Satisfied that he has confirmed the Captain's identity, Flag Smasher tells him that he resigned from Ultimatum when he found out that they had been funded by Johann Schmidt, the Red Skull. So I like it's like 349. It's the penultimate issue. Grunwald's already name-checked, the mastermind behind the whole thing, but meanwhile everyone's going, well, wait a minute, how the hell is it the Red Skull? He died. We literally saw him die in Captain America's arms.
In issue 300, 4 or 5 years ago,
Because again, I don't we were resurrecting characters, but Resurrection wasn't like as much of a revolving door as it is today.
Mm-hmm.
In 8-9,
It was used much more sparingly back then.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I think the only big resurrection we had seen prior to this was Jean Grey.
Yes.
If I remember right.
Yeah, there's not a ton. They weren't doing it a ton at this point.
Even Bucky was dead at this point.
Oh, yeah.
Like, which makes this climax ending even more devastating for Cap. Yeah.
Norman Osborn was still dead at this point.
No, yeah, that's true too.
But Flag Smasher is adamant in his beliefs that to use a weapon funded by a Nazi, even with the goal of saving the world, would be the height of hypocrisy, and he pleads for the Captain's help to stop Ultimatum's doomsday weapon, requesting Cap's help because he's the only person Flag Smasher could trust in such a situation. I love when, again, and this was like another big theme in like Grunwald's run, it's like, even like these, down and dirty villains, like the scum of the earth, everyone to a T was like, yeah, I may hate you, but I know you're a man of your word. I can trust you.
They have a respect for him,
yeah.
like Batroc. Like it's another example when during the Bloodstone hunt,
yes.
when Cap was underwater and he was going to get eaten by sharks and stuff, Batroc leapt in and saved his life because he thought it was such an ignoble end for such a respected adversary. He thought it was such a terrible end for such an honored foe.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, a lot of his enemies had really high respect for him, even if they hated his guts.
Oh, yeah. Rogers brings Flag Smasher aboard the Quinjet, much to D-Man's surprise, as Battlestar succeeds in rescuing Walker, though the two are left behind at the research station. The Quinjet arrives at the Ultimatum base with just 7 minutes to spare. Before disembarking aboard rocket skis, the captain asks to switch shields with Flag... I love this. Switch shields with Flag Smasher, who doesn't understand why it would matter, but agrees. Rogers immediately feels the difference between shields as they take off, while Flag Smasher is simply impressed by his ability to adapt to the rocket skis. The two quickly reach the device, which Flag Smasher reveals will generate an electromagnetic pulse powerful enough to disable electronic devices across the entire planet. I I guess that I'm just like, why would the Red Skull? I mean, wouldn't that be a handicap to the Skull too?
Yeah.
If you take out every electronic device,
You would think, yeah.
I mean, unless he has
Unless he had like some B plan, some backup plan.
maybe. Rogers questions the logic of how such a device would further Flag Smasher's goal of uniting the world, which he begins to explain as an attempt to force all mankind to face a common predicament. That ain't get all. I thought a common predicament. I thought this too, but I mean, I think COVID proved that wrong.
Yeah. So much for that, right?
So much.
That was supposed to unite us? Yeah.
I mean, it was of the whole world, if you would think, but no.
Yeah. Well, we blew it.
Some people still don't believe it's real.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Come on, Noel, F Trump, come on, where are you? Oh. Unfortunately, Flag Smasher doesn't know how to deactivate the device and misjudged Cap's ability to do so. I know, he thought Cap was going to be able to disarm this thing. He's like, I don't know what. Cap orders D-Man to send the Quinjet on a collision course with the base with the intention of destroying the device, but also tells D-Man to bail out beforehand. D-Man agrees to do it, but as he sets the course, he hears intruders land on the upper hall, realizing that they could be attempting to blow up the Quinjet before it can crash. He sets the autopilot and disembarks to take out the attackers, while Cap and Flag Smasher evacuate the base. D-Man manages to get rid of the attackers and removes one bomb by removing the panel it's attached to. But while distracted by an ultimatum agent and tangled by a tether stuck to the Quinjet, another bomb goes off. The remains of the Quinjet do crash into the base, destroying the device, but there's no sign of a parachute. Frantic and fearing a repeat of the loss of his old partner, Bucky Barnes, Roger searches the waters for any sign of his friend, but after 2 hours with no sign of so much as a scrap of D-Man's uniform, he fears the worst, that history has repeated itself and he has lost another partner and a friend.
Yeah. Poor Steve.
I know.
Especially that last panel, because you can see like the anguish, the torment on this dude's face. Like it's happened again. I can't believe it happened again.
And we don't find out what happened to him for like until 400.
Oh, was that? Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah. Because I know for the longest time, people were like, when Crossbones first started showing up, they're like, oh, is that like D-Man, like a brainwashed D-Man or something?
Yeah. I started to wonder that too. I really did, because his face was all scarred up. They revealed that his face was scarred up. They didn't show his face.
Yeah, he's mostly in a mask most of the time. Yeah, and the build was kind of right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, ooh, wow. Okay. But that was a cool mystery that kept going for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it was revealed that, no, he survived, but he was just frozen.
I know, it basically pulled a Cap. Yeah, he was frozen.
Yeah. Same exact thing.
Oh, cool. The cover for this one is an homage to Jack Kirby and John Romita's cover of Captain America 193. The cover is flipped and Battlestar is in the place of the Falcon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I didn't know that.
This issue takes place after Avengers Annual 17, but the issue itself mistakenly says Avengers Annual 18.
Oops.
Yep.
I wish that, like, when Cap invites D-Man to join the Avengers and help him investigate Inferno and deal with some of that mess, and create a new team of reserve Avengers or whatever. I wish that we'd gotten like a little bit of a blurb saying that they went off and did something, because that would have opened the door to us having one of these lovely little miniseries that we have now.
Oh, yeah.
That show that a glimpse into just what happened when they went off and did that little side thing.
Or I think his, like, quote-unquote death would have had even greater impact. Like, if you showed him, like, going on one Avengers mission and then they get to this, I mean, I think that would have been even more to them. But, I mean, although we've seen him with Cap on several missions during Grunwald's run here, but...
Yeah.
But like I said, I love this issue so much for some reason.
And it's cool that Flag Smasher was... I mean, he's still the villain, but... this whole revelation about the Skull being behind Ultimatum and having this super weapon, and Flag Smasher was actually trying to get some help to stop him from Captain America. That was a twist I also didn't expect.
Oh yeah. Oh, so okay. This is the, if anything, I mean, this is the page that lives rent free in my head when the ultimatum guy's shooting at Steve, and he just like starts flipping into the band. And I love when he's like, "Never fails to amaze me how rattled these gunmen get when I do something as simple as advance on them while they shoot." You know, meanwhile the guy's firing like an Uzi at him or something. He's just like,
real simple,
As he's forward flipping through the air, blocking bullets with this shield, and then just like
an Olympic level athlete
double kicks the guy in the head. Yeah,
yeah. Simple. Okay.
I know. I love that sequence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, good story here, but there's so much action. I mean, just him and Battlestar taking down the ultimatum agents,
and I loved seeing Battlestar and Steve teaming up as well. That was great. That was nice to see, even if it was just for this issue. I liked that. I liked that a lot.
And then just the whole Flag Smasher switch shields with me, and he's like, "What the hell difference could it make?"
Yeah. Quite a bit of difference, actually.
Oh, yeah. Steve, he's just like, he immediately tells the difference. He's like, "Man, with this shield, I feel like I can do anything."
Yeah.
Which, again, I mean, at this point, he's been carrying it around for, 50 years or so?
Mm-hmm. It's almost like an extension of him now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then, of course, the whole thing with D-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Again, just the art on this. I mean, you get the giant explosion and then just Steve's face. It's just,
so good. Yeah.
Again, such a good job on the art. Again, Walker's madness, just Steve's, the shock and horror on Steve's face when he...
Yeah, the anguish of that last panel as he comes out of the water and onto the ice.
Oh, yeah, he's like, not again.
And he just realizes it's happened again. Yeah. Horrible suffering.
And a lot of stories, it seems like, the hero dives in the water for 5 minutes and looks for someone. It's like, nah, I can't find him.
No.
2 hours.
Steve.
2 hours.
2 hours.
In the Arctic water. Yeah. And it's just...
Yeah. Yep. That man does not give up easily.
Oh, no. Especially after what happened to Bucky. He's like, no,
absolutely.
No.
Even more so because of that. Yeah. Yeah. Really good stuff.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we get to the last one.
Yes. The big kahuna is here.
Again, like I said, a shorter synopsis, but we got some stuff to unpack in this next one.
Yes, we do.
Captain America number 350 from February 1989. Seeing Red. Pretty much the same team here. This one, it just credits Ralph Macchio as editor. So, after months of manipulation from the resurrected Red Skull, Steve Rogers finally confronts and defeats his replacement as Captain America, John Walker. After defeating Walker, Steve also battles his arch nemesis, the Red Skull. During the fight, the Skull, who is now in a cloned body of Steve Rogers, complete with the super soldier serum, has his face permanently turned into a red shrunken mask, courtesy of his exposure to his notorious dust of death. The Skull once again escapes capture. In the end of the story, Steve Rogers assumes the mantle of Captain America once again. All right, so that was kind of a quicker synopsis, but
that is
pretty
quick.
much, yeah.
But it does cover everything that happened. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because then at the beginning of the story, you see someone who looks like Steve Rogers basically training with 5 men dressed as Captain America, and he literally kills them all.
Yeah, he butchers them all very brutally.
Mm-hmm.
And with his bare hands, well, except for one, he takes a shield and uses it to crush his skull with it. But another, he pulls a Bane. He picks him up and breaks him over his spinal column over his knee. I was like, yikes.
Then he picks up the shield from one of them and he just bashes the last one's head in.
Yeah.
I mean, besides the bloodshed, they're giving you Justin. They're giving you a shot of almost a naked Steve Rogers here.
Yeah. Not bad.
And if you haven't figured out who he is by the beginning of this, again, he's got that stupid cigarette holster.
Yeah.
And then for the first time, we see from this end of the conversation him talking to Rockwell. But once again, in that one panel, we see him in red.
Yep.
I love in New York City, just Steve. Basically, it's the aftermath of Inferno, and of course,
things are finally going back to normal a little bit.
All the newspapers blaming the mutants as usual.
Of course. But then there's a classic Captain America moment here in this page, where there's a truck that skids out of control. It's just about to run over these 3 kids, and then all these other things happen, and Cap as the captain, Steve rescues
the three little
three
leaguers,
kids.
yeah.
Then a woman with a stroller with a baby in it, and then somebody's apple pie.
I think it was hers too. So he saves her baby and her apple pie. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yes, her pie
Yeah.
went flying when her baby. Yeah. So funny.
Yeah, because the lady's like, my baby, and one of the little leaguers is like, and your apple pie too.
And your apple pie.
Oh yeah, that's the funniest. Just the funniest panel.
That is a classic moment right there.
But I just love the whole Inferno aftermath because those little leaguers are standing around getting like a hot pretzel, and the one kid's like, my dad beat up one of them demons, and the other kid's like, yeah, well, my dad beat up two. Marvel New York.
I know, I love it.
I was just thinking, I'm like, can you imagine living in the Marvel universe? It's like, yeah, if you don't get eaten by a demon during Inferno, the Red Skull basically almost set off a giant EMP, and yeah.
Every week there's something new happening.
And now, and this is all like after the High Evolutionary almost tried to mutate you.
Yeah, yeah, right. And then Atlantis is going to attack here in another few months. When are we going to catch a break, for God's sake?
I know.
I love that Inferno happened in New York, though. I mean, of all the places for that to happen, it's like, I bet a bunch of New Yorkers aren't really going to worry too much about demons. The residents of New York City have seen much worse things than demons in their lifetimes.
Half her probably like, oh, look, there's a new Green Goblin. Okay.
Oh, great. Cool.
But then, meanwhile, I see John Walker in bed recovering from basically the exposure and frostbite. Although I guess his super strength saved him from.
And I love how they conveniently left his costume in the closet.
I know.
Because they basically talk about how they're going to strip him of the title of Captain America, essentially.
Yeah.
They're talking about it. At least they're having discussions.
After Rockwell asked him, what happened to that shield? It was taken from me, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, he gets a call from someone saying, I know where your shield is. Meet me at the Smith building on Pennsylvania Avenue at midnight. But then the commission's meeting, and the rest of them are like, oh, maybe we should give Steve Rogers his old job back. And Rockwell's like, no, he's slime. He's contemptible slime.
Steve Rogers sucks. My boss said so.
But meanwhile, as Rockwell's talking to the skull on his little TV there, I love Steve sneaks in and is like, who were you talking to?
Who were you talking to?
And he's like, what do you want, Roger? And he's like, I just let myself in to return the shield your man lost.
Yeah.
I mean,
slams
again,
the shield down on his desk.
I mean, pretty much it's Steve's shield, but he's like, there's a legal question. He's like, here, I'm returning the shield your man lost.
Yeah. He doesn't technically own it. Like it's the property of the government in his eyes. He's just been using it because he's been doing the job.
So I love all these two are arguing. Yeah. That phone rings and Rockwell's like, why is he calling now? He must know it. I got a visitor here. He's like, not now, sir. And then he gets the his phone gasses him. His phone gasses him.
And Steve finds the little capsule hidden inside the cordless phone.
Yeah,
and there we basically have our giveaway now. We know who it is.
Yeah, because Rockwell's face looks like a red skull, and you just hear the ha of the phone.
So good. I love that panel where the dead body is just slumped over the desk, and there's that disembodied laugh coming from the phone. So good.
Yeah, Steve turns that screen on. It's just the empty chair with a skull insignia on it. Basically, he's going to get the number traced. Then we see John Walker get to the Smith building that night.
And encounters somebody who looks an awful lot like Steve Rogers in a business suit.
Oh, yeah.
And you notice as he's exhaling in this one panel, the skull rather, you see in the smoke it says Kirby.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I ever noticed that. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
But he tells them, oh, gentlemen, come out. He says, an ultimatum agent, a resistance, a member of the sweatshop, and scourge of the underworld, a watchdog. She's like, oh, yeah, I've been behind all these guys, I mean.
This whole time.
Pretty much. So, again, it's not even since, 332. It's, almost pretty much since the beginning of Grunwald's run.
Because the Scourge of the Underworld's been going on for a while.
Oh, yeah.
The Watchdogs have been going on for a while, as well as the Resistance and all those folks.
Yeah, because, I mean, Scourge, I mean, there was that classic, you know, it was that 319 where he guns down all those villains and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Ultimatum, I mean, Flag Smasher and Ultimatum have been around, I think, since, 312? So it's... So, again, Grunwald with the long-term planning here.
Love it.
But, yeah, Walker still doesn't recognize him. Oh, I think because maybe the one time they met face-to-face, Steve was wearing sunglasses. Maybe that's why he didn't recognize him.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah.
But he says,
He had glasses on.
Yeah, but Skull goes, "Why, I'm Steve Rogers, the original Captain America, of course. Who else?" So he leaves the room and tells these guys to kill Walker.
Which they don't really do a good job of. They're not quite up to the task, let's put it that way.
Half of them are shooting at him, and they're just like, "Oh, I can't get a beat on him. He's moving too quick."
Yeah.
Even without a shield, he's
yeah, he's still extreme. I mean, he's even stronger than Steve Rogers.
Oh yeah, because he's gone through that strength
Physically.
augmentation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then he picks up that desk chair and what is it? The one Resistance guy, basic. I don't know. He's like melding it or whatever. It's
Rust.
Like,
yeah.
it's basically like this. Yeah, and he just like whips the chair at the Watchdog.
Hits him right in the face with it.
And I love the sweatshop.
That totally makes sense, because seeing that Watchdog uniform would probably trigger him at this point.
Oh really yeah, but I think he's gonna kill all these guys no matter what.
Yeah.
Because I love the sweatshop guy like drops the table on him. He's like, no. Then you just see John's fist come through the table, and again that grin,
the crazy face,
party time.
Yeah, it's party time. Yeah. This man is becoming even more unhinged by the moment.
It's almost reveling in his madness at this point.
Yeah.
But then outside we see Steve trying to more sneakily get in the building, but then the Skull is like, "Oh, welcome, Captain. I've been expecting you." So he enters another room and then sees, the red figure on the screen like Rockwell would see. He's like, "So, Captain, have you guessed which of your many enemies is behind all this yet?" And Steve says, "It's obvious you want me to believe you're the Red Skull." And he's like, "Very good. I take it you don't believe that." He's like, "No, the Red Skull died in my arms. I held his lifeless corpse." And then the Skull goes, "Did it look something like this?" And I guess played video of it. And he's like,
I guess there was a camera recording that moment somewhere in that where all that took place in issue 300.
But Steve says it don't matter. He's like, "You're responsible for killing Rockwell. I'm taking you in." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "I admit it. I'm the Red Skull." And he goes, "Oh yes, I'm also you. See?" And shows his face. He's like, "Video images can be faked." And then Steve's thinking, "Who else?" He's like, "Last time someone tried to impersonate me with Primus back in 278." Another
I remember
DeMatteis.
that.
DeMatteis, yeah. So
Primus.
So he's basically saying, "Okay, who you know who I am? You went to some trouble to fool me and thinking you're the Skull." And then Skull basically goes into the whole plan about, John Walker
tells him about how he set up to have his parents killed and all that stuff, which made him go over the edge and kill all of the Watchdog, or most of the Watchdogs.
And even more than that, just have Walker become Captain America to tarnish that name.
Yeah, he wanted the symbol of Captain America to be destroyed.
Oh yeah,
by sending this man who was obviously mentally unstable on kind of a rampage and keeping the pressure up on him, knowing that he would eventually break under it. And go on a murderous rampage and completely tarnish the image of Captain America to the American people. That was the victory that the Red Skull really wanted. It was a symbolic victory.
Because he mentions the death of Professor Power, and then the Watchdogs after they killed his parents, and then right winger,
and then left and right winger, that whole mess. Yeah, and Steve is obviously pretty upset by this.
So Steve basically leaves the room, and then it's like, can that be true? He's like, the Super Patriot. I guess that's entirely possible. If I were to talk to my replacement for a moment, I'd know if it was him. So he's basically just searching every room, and then he comes across John Walker in a room full of bodies.
Yep. After the battle, catching his breath.
And then he's like, "Oh, Steve Rogers, you decided to come out of hiding and face me like a man."
Face me like a man.
But then back at the commission, they find Rockwell's body, and Val Cooper says, "I'm going to tear Rockwell's, office apart and search every paper, everything."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then back to the Smith building. Yeah, we get the fight between Steve and John Walker.
Yeah. And this is great, this battle. This
Oh,
is the fight that we've been leading up to all this time. And I was not disappointed. Now, a lot of the times that my complaint is, I wish the fight was longer. I wish the fight was longer. No, I got everything I wanted here. This was an absolute slugfest between these two.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and like even Steve says, one good shot, and I'm done for. So basically, Steve's just hitting and running. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they make it into that chamber.
Oh yeah, because John tackles them through the wall.
He sends them flying through the wall, and then there's all these images playing on the screens of essentially all of the different atrocities that John Walker's committed as Captain America: the death of Professor Power, the killing of the Watchdogs, the left and right winger thing.
Oh, yeah, because Steve's like, it's all true. He's like, this looks exactly like those bodies in the next room. And it's like...
Yeah. Everything that the dude was telling me on the screen was true. He wasn't lying.
Mm-hmm. And
then on this next page, we get a couple more great psycho John Walker faces. as
he's like, you're gonna hide behind that shield, Steve, or Rogers, you're gonna fight me. And Steve's like, I shouldn't. He's like, but ever since he beat me that last time, I felt like I was losing my head. So, yeah, he drops his shield. He says, okay, Walker, let's do it.
Yeah, they go right for it.
With John just, like, blood coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. And like you said, it looks like he's reveling in it. He's actually enjoying all of this.
I love this. Oh, my God. When John, like, throws a punch and Steve dodges and he, like, hits that electrical box or something.
Yeah. Electrocutes himself. He goes, aye!
But then he rips out wires out of there and starts strangling Steve with them.
It's so good.
Because again, in that panel where he's strangling Steve, you can't even see his eyes. All you see is that grin.
Yeah, it's a psychotic grin. That man is ready to kill him.
But yeah, Steve eventually just one last shot and knocks him out.
Yeah, he must hit like his nerve centers or something.
Something. It looks like he hits him like both ears. And just,
yeah.
That's
why
why.
Drops him. And then old grinning Skull comes in,
yeah.
and Steve notices, because he's got the cigarette still going.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve, as he's talking and gloating, Steve notices that he's not inhaling.
He's Clinton! I was hoping you was going there, and you did not disappoint.
I didn't inhale.
Or have sexual relations with that woman. Oh.
And that's when the shield comes from behind and hits him in the back of the leg.
Oh, yeah, after this big speech where Skull's like, I can trick it, now I don't have to get my hands dirty anymore. I can just trick others into doing it. I'm not some easily identifiable foreigner anymore. I'm a disarmingly handsome, American businessman.
I look like any old businessman. And he doesn't realize that John Walker has regained consciousness and is hearing every word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the Skull's like, you know what? He's like, you're never going to know what's coming. I might kill you tomorrow, next week, next year, 20 years from now. He's like, but it's going to come, and you're not going to know when. And yeah, it's when John nails him with the shield.
Yeah.
And he bites down on that cigarette, and gets the that dust to death.
Yeah, he only had that handsome face for one issue, less than one issue.
So it doesn't kill him, but I guess it melts all the skin off. Yeah, he is now truly a Red Skull,
a permanent Red Skull. Yeah,
before it was a mask, now it's his face.
Now it's really his face, and I loved that too. Honestly,
oh yeah,
I thought that was perfect. I thought, oh man, now he's really like truly the Red Skull. Because I always thought that him having the mask was kind of hokey.
Yeah.
And that it would have been much cooler if, like, he had been involved in some horrible chemical explosion or something. Some Nazi, like, developing some secret Nazi experimental chemical weapon or something, and it burned all the skull off his face or something. The fact that it was a mask always kind of cheapened it and made it seem hokey. I was like, yeah, this is perfect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I love that. I love it at the end of Streets of Poison when he's about to fight the Kingpin, and he's like, your men can touch it if you want to make sure I don't have anything concealed. He's like, it's not a, oh no, because the Kingpin, I think, says you want to take off your mask. He's like, there is no mask. You can have your men, touch it to double check.
He thinks it's a mask. He's got something concealed in there. Yeah.
Oh my god! Can you imagine? Everyone's like, "Yeah, touch this guy's skull, his unexposed skull."
It's all clammy and gross.
It's either touch the skull or Kingpin, or Kingpin will sit on you.
Well, that happens anyway. Yeah.
So but the skull gets away, and
of course.
Then Steve says, "Let's go see the commission. I want to know which one of us gets this shield." But basically, Val Cooper tells him, Rockwell overstepped. He was working with the skull and stuff. So she's ready to hand. They're all ready to hand him Steve back to Shield, and he's like, "Nah." He's like, "I've learned I can do this without the uniform and name." He's like, "I'll be in touch." But then John kind of stops him in the hall and says, "Rogers, wait a minute. Who are you kidding? He's like, "I'm not out of the job either way." He's like, he's like, don't let them drag some other poor sap into the, basically just, do the job that you do so easily that you were born to do. I love Steve. The commission didn't put you up to this, did they? He goes, the commission isn't very good at putting anyone up to anything. And Steve goes, point taken.
Yeah.
And then that last page of this story, I mean, we don't see him physically put on, but all we get is that splash page with just the text boxes. Yeah.
Which is amazing. I love that.
Mm.
Yeah. That's the first time he's had that costume on in a couple of years, right?
Since 332.
332, yeah. Yeah.
He's back. He did it his way, and it feels right.
Yeah. So good.
Mm-hmm. And then, then we get like what? 1, 2, 3 different, caps.
Oh, yeah. We get the women and we get the different
the
Buckies,
partners, the women.
Women in his life.
The 6
we get the different people that had been Captain, which I always forget about these other ones.
Mm-hmm.
I always forget about William Nasland. I always forget about Jeff Mace.
I think those two were kind of retcons where it's like, to explain, because, Stanley put it, where he went into the ice at the end of the World War II, like in 45, but they had comics after that with Captain America in them, so that was them explaining, this is how we had a Captain America while Steve was on ice.
Okay. So since then, they've retconned this. Like this, I don't remember this Grand Director thing. Do you?
Yeah, that's that's another favorite of Charlie's. What's his face?
Is that an Englehart story, maybe?
Yeah. He was the captain when Jack Monroe was Bucky. That was his Captain America.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
okay.
That's like the government tried to make them the new Captain America and Bucky, but whatever super soldier serum they gave them eventually turned them insane and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't remember Roscoe.
Roscoe barely counted. He was one of the guys who tried to take over for Cap when he became Nomad. Right there.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
I think he's the one Red Skull killed. Maybe.
Oh.
Yeah, because I know Red Skull killed. There was a couple guys trying to fill in for Cap, and they all pretty much and didn't last too long. Yeah, I think Roscoe might have been the one the Skull kills. Yeah.
Well, Roscoe.
That gets Steve back in the costume. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Super Patriot.
Oh, yes.
And then, the only other story we get is, the story that explains Red Skull's resurrection here.
Mm-hmm. And the origin, for anybody that wasn't
familiar. The Skull's complete origin, and like his,
which
basically his
battle I loved
up to that point, yeah.
Yeah, I loved it because it was a kind of a deep dive into all of the things that, because I mean, I like I said, I read about the Red Skull's stuff in the Marvel Handbook Book of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't go into as much detail as I particularly wanted. And this did. Like, I saw stuff about, I had no clue that he went up against Doctor Doom a couple of times.
Oh, yeah. I don't think I've read this, but we have to get there at some point. What was that? I think that's probably those supervillain team-up issues or something. Yeah, but
I think so, yeah.
We got to get there.
And there's another one when he was in Vegas and was fighting the Kingpin.
I think that might have been some early Cap, yeah.
Yeah, like the whole thing with the who were those? There was that team that he had.
Oh,
the Exiles.
Yeah,
yeah. There was a lot of stuff that I had no clue about until I read this issue.
Oh yeah, because there was new stuff I learned the first time I read this. Yeah, like how his mother dies in childbirth and the father tries to kill him.
Tries to drown him in the basin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he kills this girl because she rejects him when he's young.
Yeah.
Beats her to death with a shovel.
Yeah. Yeah, the first thing I knew of is that, him as the bellboy, and Hitler's like telling all his lieutenants, I can make this guy the ultimate Nazi.
Yeah.
And then he gets, at the end of the war, he doesn't get frozen in ice, but he got an experimental life-prolonging gas.
More gas. Red Skull likes his gas.
But then they show when he wakes up and finds the cosmic cube, and Cap beats him.
That was classic. I love that one.
Yeah, the Bucky robot thing.
Golden armor. There's even a little panel of him with the golden armor on and the cape. Yep.
Oh my God, the creepiest part when it's just like when he's on his little island, he takes notice of a washerwoman and is reminded of his mother. He announces to her that it is her destiny to bear him an heir.
Ooh.
All right, not to be too crude, but so he's getting horny because this woman reminds him of his mother.
Yeah, that's
okay, Norman Bates. All right.
Yeah. Yikes. And then because it's a girl that she gives birth to.
Yeah, he's about to kill her.
He tries to hurl her into the ocean. Like it's not what he was going to do. What his father was going to do to him, drown him really quickly in the basin. He was going to hurl this child into the open sea.
I know.
Yeah, that's nasty.
But then he decides otherwise, and gets her some special tutor to train her in, I guess, all Nazi ways. And he's like, he visits her once a month.
Oh, lovely. Bet she'll enjoy that.
And then, of course, the classic, the Skull uses the cosmic cube again to trade places with Captain America. And the whole time we see Sam Wilson.
Yeah, another classic story.
Mm-hmm. But then, like you said, him versus Doom, him versus Kingpin.
First Doom and then Kingpin. We get some of the sleeper robots, which I always loved those. Those sleeper robots I always thought were fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Nazi robots,
yeah.
But we definitely got to hear Doom and Skull fighting on the moon.
Yes. I want to cover that at some point.
Oh, well, we got to.
Maybe in some Doomcember that we have coming up.
Yeah, we might have to add some of those,
Yeah.
Well, I think some of those, I think someone's certain favorite Namor shows up in this. Some of those.
Oh, I think you're right.
I think so. Yeah.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
I think you're right. Yeah.
I love how it's like, Doom abandons him on the moon, but he's saved by Hate Monger, a clone of Adolf Hitler, imprinted with the Führer's brain pattern.
Yeah, the Hate Monger
in Arnim Zola, which keep that in your head, kids. And then some of his other adventures. Oh, Ameridroid, I remember that.
The Ameridroid, classic.
Oh God! And then he artificially ages up his daughter to become Mother Superior.
Oh yeah,
wearing the same costume that Mother Night would eventually wear. I'm like,
yes, it is.
Wasn't he involved with Mother Night?
Yeah, there's so many levels of creepiness going on here.
Here, just like my daughter. Who is this? The Skull or Trump? You're welcome, Noel. And then we finally get to the storyline, the one that led up to 300 with, the Skull started to age again, so he poisons Cap and makes him start aging too. Yeah. But I don't think they showed this, but here's where we get our explanation, kids. Yeah, Zola took some cell samples from Cap so he could clone them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. So
put him in the biscuit body.
Because you get that last page, man. I mean, you're basically getting naked Steve Rogers there.
Yeah.
But he's basically saying, because Skull was having trouble remembering. He's like, so use that you transfer my consciousness into his clone body. I am at last my enemy's physical equal. Oh, and here that last part where Zola's like, "Here's your mask," and he's like, "No, I don't think I will be wearing that anymore.
I don't need it any longer.
I don't know. Might have protected you from that dust of death, kid."
Maybe.
Besides, it would be a pity to hide this beautiful Aryan face.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think he's in love I think he's in love with Steve.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It would certainly explain a lot of things, wouldn't it?
That gets. That's some creepy stuff there.
Yeah.
When I touch myself, I'm touching you, Captain.
Yes. Oh, your body is so beautiful, Captain America.
There's a drop. is that John Bernhardt? Yeah, like
It
I don't
is,
think they credit it like in my synopsis or
they didn't.
even
Oh,
or in this. I don't think, at least on the digital copy, I don't see a.
yeah.
But yeah, I was gonna say that. Well, that looks like Bern.
Yeah.
All right.
That's another reason I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, what do you think, Justin?
This is, like I said, this to me is one of the most satisfying endings
Oh yeah.
of like any like long-term comic book storyline that lasted for as many years as this did. I'm kind of hard pressed to think of many others that follow the same kind of template, that have as satisfying of a conclusion, and that set up so many good things to follow directly afterwards.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I'm glad it wasn't just like random crap going on. Again, everything that happened to Steve, well, again, almost since the beginning of Grunwald's run has been the skull.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, this is classic stuff. This is in my opinion, this is some of the best Marvel had to offer, like in any time period.
Oh yeah, and most importantly, yes, that 2-page thing with like the women in Captain America's life. It did inform me that actually Gail Runsitter, not Lilith Hellfire, was SHIELD Agent 169.
Oh.
You learn something every day. I did not know
That's
that.
right.
And knowing is half the battle. All right. Anything else, Justin?
No, I think we pretty much covered it all. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go back and revisit some more of this.
Any Grunwald. I'm down for any Grunwald.
I think we have some on the horizon, don't we? For July, maybe.
Is it this year or next? I know when the next Captain America movie comes out, we have some planned. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But I'm down for Grunwald anytime. I mean, okay. So what have we done so far? We've done Capwolf. We've done these.
Yes. Yeah. At some point, we have to do the Superior Stratagem.
That, oh my god, we gotta do all those summer ones. Streets of Poison, Bloodstone Hunt.
Streets of Poison. Yep.
Hell, at least the Cap issues of Acts of Vengeance.
Those were all great.
Oh yeah, especially someone's favorite biscuit shows up too.
That's right, and they get into a fight.
Yes. The controller.
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, Magneto comes for the skull. Yes.
Yeah. So good.
All right. Pull up the schedule here. All right, kids. I don't know why. I know what I'm doing. All right. So next episode, again, we're going to be recording this in a few minutes, so you can still send in feedback. But yes, next time we're going to do the Mighty Thor 406 through 408, another great Justin pick, and we're going to close out the month with Iron Man 281 through 284, the first appearance of that War Machine armor.
Yes.
And the Masters of Silence.
That's right. Some more classic stuff.
All right, so send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, episodes, social media, merchandise. New merch is up. I've been trying to add some stuff. I added some hats to one of them last night. So, yeah, I mean, new logos. You can get them on it.
Yes.
Hats, T-shirts, phone
all
cases.
All kinds of new stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bunch of new logos, new merch. Again, you can rain random money on us through the Cash App link, little favorite preferred method.
Make it rain.
Yes. And, of course, the Patreon, where we try to give you something different every month. Again, the March episode was the conspiracy theories. Lilith and I talked some politics. I'm trying to remember what we were talking about for April. But, yeah, we always try to do something a little different, so... yes. So subscribe to the Patreon. You will not be disappointed. So find
That's
it.
Right.
Oh yes, join this one here. We're in the Patreon
Yes,
Elite.
I'm a member, so I'm consistently entertained by all of the bonus content, and it's always fun to have uncensored Lilith Hellfire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Join Justin, Ray, Moz, and join Russell, Moz, Justin, Moz, Russell, and of course Batman's #1 fan over on the Patreon.
That's right.
All right. So find everything at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. Now for this Justin the Owl. You can hear him in this spot every week, either here on Marvel Tales or X-Men Classics. I can hear him once a month at the end of every month on We Are the Night,
the Batman podcast.
Talking Azrael with me, and of course on Energon Universe, talking all the new Transformers and G.I. Joe content with me and Russell.
That's right.
But what else can we hear you on, Mr. Justin?
You can also find me on Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, where Russell and I talk about the Incredible Hulk and the sensational She-Hulk every month. You can also find us joined by the High Priest of Khonshu, Ray, on Predator and Prey, the Yaucha podcast, where we talk about Fox's Predator once a month. And also, my solo project, The Lost Library of Legends, is still chugging right along. And by the time that this episode comes out, I should have both parts of a 2-part retrospective on a 90s series called Black Wolf.
We're going back to the 90s here, bitch.
Oh man, I didn't realize that was 2-parter. Oh, nice.
Yeah, the first part, I'm going to do the first half of the series plus the appearance in Thunderstrike that introduced the character.
Oh, nice.
And then the second episode is the second half of the series and the 2 guest appearances in Daredevil.
I love it. I'm going to eat this up with a fork and spoon. It's me, your old pal the owl.
All right.
Well, that escalated quickly.
My favorite biscuit.
Love it. All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. That's right. We did our Captain America. Next episode, we're going to shift to our next Avengers Thor, and then after that, it's on to Iron Man. Yes.
One of the classics.
Oh, yeah. Some DeFalco and Friends 4, and then on to Len Kaminsky Iron Man. Yes. Yeah. All right, kids. Come back next time and get out of my face.